Our first panelist will be Comrade Zaid. Zaid is an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement, a transnational grassroots independent organization of Arab youth struggling for the liberation of their homeland and people from Zionism and imperialism. Comrade Zaid, in about 10 minutes, please tell us your struggle and how you have, and the challenges you're facing, including the successes that your organization has been able to achieve in your struggle. You're welcome.
Uh, Firstly, revolutionary greetings, comrades from all over the world. It is a tremendous honor to be amongst you all, and to even more than to be amongst you all today, to be in struggle with you all on a daily and hourly and minute by minute basis as we struggle against the forces of Zionism and imperialism, which equally try to crush all of our people all over the world. So I want to talk about a couple of different things in my presentation. The first is I want to clarify the nature of Zionism, how it manifests in the region, in Palestine itself, in the broader Arab region. I want to talk about Zionism and the role of the Zionist entity in the world, including but not only in Africa. And I want to talk about the Palestinian struggle from our perspective in the diaspora. So firstly, what I will say, in keeping in line with the theme of this panel, the role of women and youth, we have to really understand for ourselves that Zionism is inherently a genocidal ideology, not just an ideology, but an actual structure and a system that doesn't just wage war against, against only our resistance forces, but also wages a genocidal war against the very fabric of Palestinian life itself. And this has always been the case. This has not, the October 7th and beyond has unmasked Zionism to the entire world, many for the first time, but this has always been the role of Zionism, is to completely eliminate the very concept of Palestinianness and, by extension, Palestinian sovereignty. And to make this point clear, there's a Palestinian revolutionary named Walid Daqqa who wrote while he was in Zionist prisons about this concept of searing of consciousness, about how Zionist prisons, but also the overall Zionist occupation, seeks to fundamentally alter the consciousness of the Palestinian in order to prevent any resistance to the Zionist project. And this is also made even more clear by a concept that many will probably have heard of before, called the Dahya Doctrine. The Dahya Doctrine is a doctrine named after the Zionist strategy in the 2006 war on Lebanon, where it bombed to pieces the Dahya suburbs in Beirut and Lebanon. And very explicitly, their strategy was to attack civilian infrastructure, not just to go after military targets, but to wreak havoc and to rain terror on Lebanese and Palestinian civilians in order to extract and force concessions from the resistance. Because they understand, the Zionists understand that resistance to Zionism is part and parcel of our identity. The Zionists seek to expand, seek to serve this project of Greater Israel, and disregard any so-called borders in the region, and advance, whether it's in Lebanon or Syria or beyond. And they know that the only way that they can achieve that is if they are able to achieve disunity and division within our own society and within our own people. So part of the way that they do this as well is to confuse all of us in diaspora, to confuse people across the West, especially by talking about things like women's rights. They point to places like in Gaza and make the argument that the same argument that the US made in its invasion in Iraq and its war on Afghanistan, that these are a backwards people who do not treat their own people well. So therefore, we need to completely eliminate them. But really what we understand is that they're after their own strategic objectives. In some places, they might be after oil. In some places, maybe after, poppy. In the case of Palestine, they're after the strategic nexus of that part of the world. That part, Palestine, is a gateway for US imperialism into Africa and into Asia, lying at the crossroads of three different continents. So we really have to understand that, therefore, Zionism is nothing but the regional manifestation of Western imperialism, US-led Western imperialism. And this is very important for us to understand because there's a narrative that has emerged, especially over the course of this most recent genocide, where people in the US, they start questioning their own government. They start thinking, why is it that all of my taxpayer dollars is going to fund a genocide? And they start making all sorts of claims about, the Zionists control the US. Israel blackmails members of Congress, all of these things. But in actuality, there's actually an organic unity between the Zionist project and US-led imperialism. We cannot talk about reforming or getting rid of one without smashing the other. Because the Zionist project is a US base in our region. Of course, there are contradictions between the US and the Zionists. We can't ignore those. But at a fundamental level, that is the role of the Zionist project. And, I want to close my remarks with a couple of quotes from Palestinian revolutionaries. The first is by Wadi Haddad, who said several decades ago, "وراء العدو في كل مكان," and that translates to behind the enemy in every place. And that is how we must understand all of our role. Wherever we are behind the enemy. We are strengthening our own forces in order to confront the enemy and in order to achieve success and victories within our connected revolutionary processes. And the last that I'll say is a quote that many, I think, will be familiar with by another Palestinian revolutionary named Ghassan Kanafani, who said, he said that imperialism has laid its body all over the world, the head in Eastern Asia, the heart in the Middle East, its arteries reaching Africa and Latin America. Wherever you strike it, you damage it, and you serve the world revolution. So, comrades, I want to close with that by saying it is our fundamental responsibility to organize wherever we are, not just in service of the Palestinian revolutionary process because we are in sympathy or merely in solidarity with us as Palestinians. But we are lockstep. We are lockstep in service of a single global revolution, whether we are in Cuba, whether we are anywhere in Africa, whether we are in Palestine and anywhere in the world, including from within the imperial core itself. We are in lockstep serving the same global revolution that is in service of all of our people to be free of imperialism and Zionism once and for all. Thank you.